Amid a fiery red sky and the thunderous roar of engines, she was a warrior, a fighter pilot carrying the mission to protect her homeland. But today, she was just a quiet woman on a commercial flight. Captain Emily Carter. Her story wasn't just about the skies, but also about the untold battles within her soul. Captain Emily Carter, a young fighter pilot in the United States Air Force, had just completed a long deployment in the Middle East. After months of battling in harsh conditions, she finally had the chance to return to her home in Texas on a commercial flight. This flight was unlike her previous ones, where she piloted a combat aircraft through skies filled with smoke and chaos. Instead, it was a calm journey. No gunfire, no explosions, just the steady hum of the engines and the deep thoughts of a woman finding her way back home.
Looking at you, you're a pilot? I bet those planes are on autopilot anyway, right?
Emily wasn't hearing such questions for the first time. But today, on this commercial flight, the sting of mockery felt sharper than ever. Sometimes the most painful prejudiced remarks come from people you'd never imagine needing to explain yourself to. She had fought in harsh conditions, defending not just her country, but also her own honor. And yet, in this moment of peace, she felt small, easy to dismiss, nothing out of the ordinary. She had learned to stay silent, learned not to fight back, simply because for her, words could never truly define who she was. Prejudice could never break her because she knew her own worth. And today, she just wanted to go home. Back to the beautiful memories of Texas, where there were no gunshots, no wars, just the vast, serene countryside and its peace. With every flight, Emily faced new challenges, new barriers. But the most important lesson she had learned was how to live with herself. She had learned to confront mockery, misunderstandings, and unwarranted judgments. She knew that up in the skies, nothing came easy, but with courage and faith in herself, she could overcome anything. Emily finally allowed herself to relax. Sitting on the flight home, she quietly watched the pure white clouds drift past the window. Her soul felt cleansed after the grueling months in the Middle East. Everything seemed so peaceful, or at least, that's what she thought. Just a few more hours, and I'll be home. But then, that peace was suddenly shattered. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated and fasten your seatbelts. We are experiencing some technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties? What's going on? It's probably nothing. They'll handle it.
But things weren't that simple. The plane started shaking more violently, as if a storm was trying to tear it from the sky. A flight attendant hurried down the aisle, her face full of worry, hands gripping the seats to maintain her balance. "Is there anyone on board who knows how to fly this plane?" Those words struck like lightning. The entire cabin fell into a deathly silence. Only frantic, confused glances exchanged between passengers. Whispers began to rise, mingled with fear and helplessness. Emily silently turned her head forward. Her eyes, once filled with confusion, now grew steely with resolve. Determination shone through every line of her face. "I know what I have to do."
Wait, what are you going to do? You're saying you know how to fly this plane? Don't joke around. This isn't the time for experiments. This isn't a military fighter jet.
"Shut up. I don't have time to explain. If we don't do something, we're all going to die. Believe me or not, it's up to you. Sit here and wait for the plane to crash? I'm a fighter pilot. I've flown in worse conditions than this. If no one else will, I will." Emily's voice cut through the chaos. The atmosphere in the cabin seemed to fall silent as every gaze turned to her. A small female soldier, yet with a confidence and decisiveness that left no one with a choice but to listen.
This is crazy. Are you serious? This is a military aircraft.
We really need help. If you can, please try." Emily stood up, walking steadily toward the front amid looks of surprise and admiration. She was unshaken, her steps firm, as though she were accustomed to the pressure of life or death moments. Ahead of her was the cockpit, the only hope for everyone on board. "Take me to the cockpit. Hurry. Yes, please follow me. Thank you. Try to keep the passengers calm. I'll do everything I can." All attention shifted to Emily as she moved toward the cockpit. But even though her steps were confident, Emily knew that ahead lay the greatest challenge she had ever faced, and there would be no support except from herself. In that moment, Emily wasn't just another passenger. She was a warrior, a leader, bearing the responsibility not only for herself, but for everyone on this flight. Emily entered the cockpit, her eyes fixed on the control panel filled with buttons and gauges she had never seen before. This wasn't a fighter jet, this was a whole different beast. But there was no time to panic. She knew that every action she took right now would decide the fate of everyone on board. All right, breathe. This is just another system. The principles are the same. Keep the plane balanced first. What's our altitude? Altitude, 35,000 feet. Strong winds ahead. The pilots reported an issue with the navigation system. Navigation system? Okay, first, keep the plane steady. She began scanning each system, quickly identifying the basic functions. Though unfamiliar, her experience with fighter jets had taught her one thing: calmness was the key in every crisis. Don't panic. Everything depends on me. What's that warning? Which technical system is failing? Right engine seems to be losing pressure. Switch power to the other engine. Hurry! Yes, I'll try now. Emily glanced at the altitude gauge, gripping the control stick tightly. She could feel the plane shaking more violently with each lurch. We're losing altitude. Check cabin pressure immediately. I need to know if the passengers are okay. Cabin pressure is stable, but we need to act faster. The plane is shaking more and more. She knew that if they lost altitude too quickly, the pressure would no longer be stable. Emily struggled to keep the plane level, her hands gripping the controls as if the fate of hundreds was in her hands, because it truly was. Stay focused. We'll be fine. Just work together. I need everyone to follow instructions. Yes, I'll go check on the passengers. Alone in the cockpit, Emily knew that everything was depending on her. With every button pressed, every decision made, every second that passed, she understood the immense stress and pressure she was under. But Emily wasn't about to let herself falter. This was her mission, and she would complete it no matter the cost. Emily continued working with the controls. The powerful storm outside made the plane shake violently, and the pressure in the cockpit seemed to weigh heavily on her. But even as sweat began to drip down her forehead, her hands remained steady, quick and decisive. Restart the system, keep it steady, then deal with the storm. Send the emergency signal now. I need to connect with ground control. The signal has been sent, but we haven't received a response yet. Keep the signal going. They'll hear us. I'll make sure we keep the plane in the air. Emily quickly glanced at the pressure and engine gauges, then adjusted the flaps to reduce the force of the wind battering the plane. She knew that just one wrong decision could end everything. No room for mistakes. Handle it step by step. I've been through worse than this.
Flight 172, this is ground control. We've received your emergency signal. What's the current situation?
Control. This is Colonel Emily Carter. I'm not a commercial pilot, but I'm trying to fly the plane. We've lost pressure in the right engine, and we're encountering a severe storm. Right now, the plane is stable, but I need guidance for an emergency landing.
Understood, Emily. We'll guide you step by step. First, keep the wings level and maintain altitude. Do you see the thrust control buttons?
Got it. I'm reducing thrust to stabilize speed. Emily followed the instructions, her hands moving quickly but with precision. But just then, the plane shook even harder. The storm was growing fiercer. Emily, the passengers are starting to panic. Is there anything we can do? Tell them. I won't let this plane crash. Just have everyone fasten their seatbelts and stay calm. You handle things there. I'll take care of this.
Are we going to die? She's not a pilot. We're not going to make it.
Enough! Stop making things worse. She's trying to save us.
Everything in the cabin became chaotic. But Emily didn't let the shouting affect her. She focused on the instructions from the ground, step by step, guiding the plane out of the storm's danger zone.
Good job, Emily. Now, check the nearest runway on the navigation system. We'll guide you for an emergency landing.
Got it? The runway is 60 miles away. I'll bring the plane there. With support from the ground, Emily continued adjusting the system. Despite the pressure and the panic around her, she held steady at the controls, guiding the plane through the storm. We can't keep going like this. The plane won't make it. Are you sure you can land it? We don't have any other choice. Trust me. Emily knew this was the defining moment. She had to overcome the fear, the doubt, and carry the lives of everyone on board. The storm kept threatening, but she couldn't let it cloud her mind.
Emily, we're monitoring your signals. You're about to enter a narrow airspace. You need to descend immediately, but be careful. The winds are extremely strong below.
Got it. I'll descend gradually, but if it's not stable, I'll have to make an emergency landing immediately. The passengers, they're panicking. I'll try to calm them, but Emily, please don't let anything happen. Nothing will happen as long as everyone cooperates. Tell them to keep their seatbelts fastened and trust me.
We're going to crash. I knew it. She can't do it.
Shut up. She's trying to save us. If you can't help, then don't make things worse. Everyone, please stay calm. We'll get through this if everyone cooperates. Fasten your seatbelts and stay in your seats. All right, stay calm, Emily. I've been through worse than this. All right, stay calm, Emily. I've been through worse than this. Emily, we see the storm is getting stronger ahead. If you can't fly through it, we can guide you to make an emergency water landing, but that will be the last resort. I won't let us land in the water. I see the runway. It's about 20 miles away. I'll get the plane there. Emily, one of the engines, it's losing thrust. What do we do now? Shut down that engine to avoid further danger. I'll control it with the remaining engine. Trust me, we can still make it. Emily knew the plane wasn't running perfectly, but she didn't let the instability overpower her resolve. She had faced much harder challenges before, and this time, she wouldn't fail. I know everyone is scared, but listen to me. I'll get you all home safely. Just stay calm and trust me. We'll get through this storm.
Only seconds remain. Everything will be decided. Emily had no room for error. A flawless landing wasn't the goal. Her sole objective was to bring everyone back safely, no matter what. Emily, are you sure we can land this? The winds are too strong, and the runway is slippery. We don't have any other choice. Get ready. Any impact must be handled quickly, and don't let anyone leave their seats.
What's happening? Can she handle it?
Pressure from all sides weighed heavily on Emily's shoulders. Hundreds of lives were depending on her and only her. Ground control, this is Flight 172. I'm landing at an unorthodox angle. Prepare all emergency measures. Estimated touchdown in 20 seconds.
Roger that, 172. The runway is clear and rescue teams are in position. Good luck.
Everyone, stay in your seats. Keep your heads down and fasten your seatbelts tightly.
I doubted her. I was wrong. God bless her.
And then, the unthinkable happened. Emily Carter, once again, defied the odds. The plane, though far from perfect, touched down safely.
We're alive. She did it.
Thank you. Thank you. Emily saved our lives. Emily, no words can express how grateful we are. Truly, thank you. That's what I had to do. No need to thank me. Just make sure everyone is okay, and that's enough.
We owe you our lives. I was wrong.
Not all heroes seek glory or praise. Some, like Emily, only need to know that they did the right thing and saved lives. In this moment, it wasn't just the survival of a flight, but a powerful symbol of resilience. Captain Emily Carter was not just an outstanding military pilot. She was someone who broke all barriers and stereotypes about gender, about what a woman could do in a world seemingly reserved for men. Her story is a lesson in perseverance, in never giving up, even in the most extreme circumstances. Emily proved that ability and courage are not about appearance, not about gender, but about strength and an unwavering patience that nothing can shake. She achieved what many thought was impossible. Not only did she save the lives of those on the flight, but she also paved a new path where anyone can reach for the heights, unhindered by any prejudice.